Hello.
My friends are white.
Yeah. Hang on, put some boots on a minute. Yes, Dog City here.
I just noticed you've got the similar bell thing as me, but your dangler's missing.
My danglers fell off. I think I got a bit. I got a little bit heavy-handed with my dangler, and it came off in my hand.
I got a cow one of those.
Oh, have you?
By the door. You
Yeah,
got
add a little bit. Well, we replaced it with one of those.
Electronic instead of.
Yeah, that
but you
really
kept the horse,
irritates
nice.
my family if I keep pressing it. Yeah.
I nearly did it just now. I nearly did it just now.
Hello, Harry. You right, mate?
All right, mate.
So, right.
So I brought you a present, Ian.
Thank you,
I
mate.
got my camera with me, but I thought I'd ask you first.
No, you carry
Your
on.
property, like
Yeah.
you do with me.
What?
Don't start that.
What's that, darling?
The bell. The bell.
I haven't got lunch back though,
Let me
so
fire this up.
yeah.
Right. Hang on. Oh, it just takes. Right, I'm here with Ian. He's filming him. We're both filming.
Yeah. I'm watching you, watching me, watching you, watching him.
No, I've just realised actually. Do you know what? It's probably the worst thing I could do is bring a tree to a tree man.
Why?
Because you know everything about trees. You might look at it.
I
and
wouldn't
go,
say I know everything.
well, you know quite a lot more than I do.
I know enough.
You might look at it and go, ooh. Come and have a look.
Yeah.
Anyway. I'll get it out.
Steady.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, I got a tube as
I
well.
always like protection.
The 1.2 metre.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for the road deer, that is.
Messing, that is.
Yeah. And,
Any vampires around here, Ian?
vampires, not that I can think of.
Vampires,
No,
yeah.
my daughter won't mind me doing that, so.
Oh, it's a big one. You're as tall as you, actually.
Yeah.
There you go. So it's bare rooted.
All right, you got to make sure they don't get dried.
Yeah, that's why.
So they want a bit wet in there, so
Yeah.
so yeah.
I'll leave that up to you. Whether
Yeah.
You put that out anywhere or what you do with it.
Yeah, the roots look all right actually, but they just want to be
Yeah.
wetted.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't let them dry out.
I
So.
think it's only come out of the ground today.
Oh, was
Or
it?
yesterday, yeah.
Oh, is this from Rockhampton? You
Yeah,
said, was it?
Rockhampton's
Yeah.
local.
Yeah.
So,
So
anyway,
I know, Mr. Locke.
I'm just going to turn this off now. You can carry on film, but I just turn it off. Like,
No, I'll turn this one off as well, and then we'll have a chat, and then maybe we'll turn it back on. So
All
then
right.
we can stop. I'll stop watching you, watching me,
yeah,
watching you.
because you know what? It's actually a lot more relaxing when you're not filming, isn't it?
Well, we can.
Well, we could say a
we
lot
can,
more.
we can tell the truth, can't we? Yeah.
Tell the
We
truth.
can tell the truth. Yeah. Yeah. All right, mate.
All right.
Right. Mr. Cornock has very kindly given me a tree, so I think the best thing we can do with that is get it planted. So whether or not I'm going to get this done before Mrs. P comes back, I've got another little mission this afternoon. When I shoot down the Mole Valley farmers, I've rung them up to make sure they've got one. I want to put a new handle on my pitchfork. Chucking the straw about by hand's all right, but I tend to get more down my boots than in my overalls and anywhere else, so I broke the pitchfork handle a year ago, ran over it with a skid steer. So yeah, there wasn't really much competition there, but yeah, if I've got time, I want a wheelbarrow, so we'll have you. We don't need the string. We'll have you. We need a digging tool, so we'll have you. Don't look at the state of my spade. I was not the last person to use that. Guys used it. I would put that away clean. So we need that. We also need a big knocking stick, which should be in here. Where's my big knocking stick? Oh. Hello? Where's that then? I've got two sledgehammers, and neither of them are where they're supposed to be. Right, so an alternative to a sledgehammer is maul. I only need it to knock a post in. So we're walking around the back of the yard. Want a bit of wood chip. of the old stuff. Spade's no good for this job really, but you know what? I don't want a lot. Just enough to put a 3-4 inch layer around the base of the tree, just to keep weed competition down. And well, it's moisture for the roots. Doing this now will vastly reduce my need to water the tree in the summer. That'll do. A planting we shall go. It's a little bit moist up here. Still, oaks don't mind having their feet wet as long as it isn't for too long. So this, to some, may sound like a really daft place to plant this tree. We've got a spindle there, a common alder there, but he's in pretty poor condition. Oh, squirrel, I can see it. Dog spotted a squirrel. Yeah, squirrel's gonna make it, I think. Fair play though, she was motoring. Anyway, and some of you say, whoa, there's an oak tree there. Why are you planting this little oak tree next to that great big oak tree? I'll tell you, in fact I'll show you why. If the camera's going to show it up, can you see in that crotch there, this tree is actually split right down, a metre below that crotch. And the split runs right through to this side, okay? Can you see that? So sooner or later, the top's going to blow out of this. Either the right-hand stem's going to go that way, or the left-hand stem's going to go that way. We may preempt that by pollarding this tree. It might well be that the only way we can save it is actually to butcher it and pollard it. It's not something I would choose to do. Mrs. P and I had sort of years ago, when we bought the golf course, said, oh, do you know what? We'd kind of like our ashes in here, somewhere, you know, it's not far from the house. Got the view down there, even if it ends up being a bit of a campsite, maybe one day. But this is the ground I grew up on. So when I was a little boy, obviously the house and the buildings over there didn't exist. I grew up in the big house over there. This land was known as Barnleys. And I spent quite a bit of time out in Barnleys as a little boy, and in 9 acres down there as a little boy. So yeah, we thought it'd be a nice place to have our ashes. But this chap, his days are definitely numbered, which is a pity. So I'm gonna preempt the loss of this fella, because we might end up actually completely losing it. We've got another oak there, an alder, and another oak up there. So if it's almost certainly that alder's going to go, and if this oak's going to go, I want to plant the new one here, so that in 10 years' time we can actually just take that one out. It'd be a shame, but yeah. So that's why I'm planting this tree here, somewhere. Come on! They didn't really want to come, because I think Pepper has had that squirrel up that one tree, and she'd be sat underneath it for 5 minutes looking at it. But it's like, oh, well, maybe it's food time. Come on! So watch Pepper go through the gate, and Pickle look at it. Come on, Pickle. Yeah. They're both smart in their own way. Oh, you two, go and get in your bed. Go on. Go on in your bed. Food's been served. In your bed, go on. Right, well, I think my oak's going to go where this spindle is. So we'll dig the spindle up, put him over there somewhere, and the oak can go in this area. That's the plan. So when you get your tree from Mr. Cornock, make sure the roots don't dry out. It's actually quite important. It's almost as important as protecting the roots from frost. So trees should come in a plastic bag. Keep it in the bag right up until the second you want to plant it. Or find another way of keeping the roots moist. There's a root there. Right, I've got to work my way around here now. See if I can get this thing up with the root ball. There we go. There we go. Right, that's one out. One to go back in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer young Mr. Oak up. I'm going to look at the roots and see which way. It's not going to make a lot of difference, but there's quite a big root going that way, so I think we're going to face him like that. No, I'll change my mind. That way, so the torsion is into the prevailing wind. Prevailing wind comes from that direction, from the spade towards me. And that hole is about spot on for the right depth. Okay, so we'll dig a new hole for him, and the spoil for that fella can go back in there. So Tubex guards, this is a 1.2 metre, are really designed for very small trees. I'm going to struggle with that. I think you're going to have to go in from the top down. This is quite a large tree for a Tubex. You wouldn't normally do this, but it was supplied with the tree, so we'll use it. So put them in there, taking all the care you can not to do any damage to roots or branches. Okay, so that's that. Stake, always put your stake on the windward side as well if you can, so the tree is being blown away from you rather than towards you. So we'll just put you in there and give you a couple of taps just to get you. So like I say, I wouldn't normally do it this way. I don't want to squash the roots down too much. So the stake goes on the windward side of the tree, so the wind is blowing the tree away from the stake. That is the way to do that. And we'll just tap you down. Right, okay. This is all completely ass backwards, but I'll do it this way because I'm assuming that most people who are going to get these trees are going to get them like this. So if this acts as a bit of guidance for you, then all well and good. So like I said, our prevailing wind comes from the southwest, so the stake is going on the southwest side of the tree. We're going to spread That's not a root that's attached. We're going to spread roots out as best we can around. We don't want them all going the same way. So spread your roots around so the tree can find anchor in all directions. Press you down a bit, down a bit. And actually what I'm going to do, because I'm going to plant that spindle on the bank up there, that's okay, apart from the fact that's completely different soil. That's made up tip soil over there to this. The soil around this fella is virgin to this area. So I am actually, even though I've taken the time to dig that up with a root ball, and that will transplant perfectly with probably, wouldn't even need a stake. I could probably plant that and it would stay standing by itself. But because the oak, sorry Mr. Spindle, is kind of more important than that, we are actually going to rob the root ball to go back in there. That is really nice topsoil. That's not so much. All right, so I think this root ball will come apart quite easily. Because I can see where it's moving. So still going to do it without trying to damage the... And what we're going to do is we're going to put this back in with the turf at the bottom. And just not go like a bullet gate, but just gently push that in. Basically what we want to do is we want to create intimate contact between the roots of the oak and the soil. So that term was taught to me by my level 2 tutor in my Royal Forestry Society exams, my RFS. When I repeated it to my level 3 teacher, he'd never heard of it. In fact, he said, he took the piss a little bit, saying intimate contact. I said, well, that's right. The roots of your plant, your tree, whatever it is, need to be in contact with the soil. Intimate contact. They need to be touching. So I think he relented at the end that actually the term made perfect sense, but to the time it was just, perhaps it's because he didn't teach it me, it wasn't as good. I don't know. I'm sure that's not the case. I don't mean it, Andy. So, right. So I'm trying to get as much of this off as I can without damaging the root of the spindle. And I'm not going to get much more than that, to be honest. And I've still got a hell of a root ball on there. Right. So, what are the most common mistakes made when people plant a tree? Is they plant them too deep. So if you plant your tree too deep, it will not like it. So, and that is plenty deep enough. So you come up a little bit, like that. Tread that back down there. That back down there like that. That can go over there. Yeah. I've got to find a bit more topsoil from somewhere. Any molehills? No. I've got rid of all the moles. Right. See if I can rob a bit more off there. In a lot of ways, you're better off having your tree planted a bit too shallow than too deep. So, yeah, just be wary of that. I'm actually going to need a bit more in there. But the roots are covered. Where can I rob some from? Actually, I will dig a hole for that fella and I'll nick a bit of the topsoil from that. The roots are in good topsoil, so actually the top stuff, because it is less good, might even work for my advantage because it'll be less grass, less competition, less work for the mulch. Right, so don't bash it in, just heel it in, careful. Right, I can't actually put that stake any lower than that because the cable tie won't reach. That'll do nicely. Right, we'll plant that one, top that up, bit of mulch, job done. Okay, well, I'm sorry, Mr. Spindle, you're not going to be anywhere near as happy there as you were down there, because I put him in the shade. He was in the sun. Now he's not really going to get any direct sunlight. Maybe forever. Dappled, but no direct, so that's slowing down a little bit. But the oak is going to have full sunlight. Also, unfortunately, full force of all the elements, but being as he's got a tubex guard on him, don't think that's going to be a problem. So I have made up the soil down there. Could do with a little bit more really, but to be honest, I think we're probably high enough around him once I've got everything sort of pushed in. So the only thing left to do now is mulch. So we won't be sparing, we're going to give it all of it. It's not like I haven't got much. If you're going to mulch, actually, that probably is a bit too much actually. If you're going to mulch a tree, it's alright because I've got the tubex guard around this, so it's not around the stem, so try and keep it actually away from the actual stem of the tree itself. You want a good 3 inches, preferably about 1 metre the way around if you can. Can have a bit more on there. And basically what that's going to do is it'll keep competition from grasses and weeds down, because it'll suppress those. It will maintain moisture in the soil, so even on a hot summer's day, if you have a dig around in this, you will find it moist underneath, and where it's moist you will find worms, which is one of the reasons blackbirds love to chuck this stuff around everywhere, because that will bring the worms up, which of course means that when we do get some rain, it percolates in better. So there you go. That can go there. That can go there. Sound. Right. We'll maybe visit this a couple of times over the seasons. One of the reasons I planted it here, as we go through the gate, as I'm out here, you'll be able to see this tree and see how it gets on. But you know, I've given it the best chance I can. I've put it in the best soil. I've given it southwest aspect, so it's got sun from nearly all the day, so it's going to catch plenty of energy from the sunshine. It has some protection by the trees behind, and hopefully in 10 years time, I think Richard was saying come back in 10 years and he's going to go around all his trees and visit them again in 10 years and see how many have survived, how they're doing. So yeah, year 1, just over 6 foot. See what year 2 does. Hello, Mr. Worm. Do you know what? I know you like it in the wood chip. Come here. So you can go in there. There you go, mate. Don't want to make the worm homeless, do we? Okay, job done. I've got to watch where I'm pushing the barrow up here, because me daffodils are just poking through. So I won't walk over them. We'll go around.